My dear friends, life gives us many relationships, but few are as precious as true friendships. Friendships are the gentle cushions that soften life's hardest falls, the laughter that breaks our silence, and the shoulders that bear our tears. Yet, so many beautiful friendships fade, not because of big betrayals or huge arguments, but because of small misunderstandings, hurt egos, and things that could have easily been let go. We often say, it's not a big deal, but our hearts still hold on to that one small comment, that forgotten message, that unreturned call. Over time, these tiny things pile up like dust on a mirror, and slowly we stop seeing the reflection of love, trust, and joy that once defined our bond. Real maturity in friendship is not about winning arguments, but about protecting the connection. Sometimes the smartest thing to do is not to react, not to reply harshly, not to keep score, but to let go. Because letting go doesn't mean you are weak. It means you value the relationship more than your ego. It means you understand that friendship is not about perfection, it's about affection. Friendship thrives not when both are flawless, but when both forgive. The more we hold on to small grudges, the heavier our hearts become. But when we choose to release, to forgive, to overlook, we feel light again, and so does our friendship. Let us learn to be gardeners of friendship, watering the bond with kindness, trimming away ego and misunderstanding, and letting the flowers of love and laughter bloom again. Because the secret to long-lasting friendships is not avoiding mistakes, but forgiving them quickly. Let go of the small things, and you'll realize the big connection will always stay. Friendships are one of the greatest treasures life can offer. They give us warmth when life feels cold, strength when we are weak, and laughter when our hearts grow heavy. A true friend is someone who doesn't just walk beside us on sunny days, but also holds our hand when the path turns dark. Life becomes richer, fuller, and more meaningful when shared with people who genuinely care for us. These relationships are not built overnight. They are built slowly, with time, trust, and countless little moments of understanding and love. When we have friends who accept us as we are, who celebrate our joys and share our burdens, we begin to realize that the real wealth of life is not found in possessions, but in people. Think about how many memories are tied to the friends who stood by us through the ups and downs. The conversations that lasted late into the night, the laughter that made our stomachs hurt, the comforting silence when words weren't enough. These moments remind us that friendships are not luxuries, they are necessities. They teach us the meaning of being human, the joy of being connected, and the comfort of being understood without having to explain ourselves. In a world where everyone is rushing, where digital screens often replace real smiles, having a friend who listens and truly cares becomes priceless. But it's easy to forget how delicate these bonds can be. Friendships, though strong in spirit, can be fragile in emotion. A small misunderstanding, a careless word, or an unmet expectation can create distance. That is why nurturing friendship requires mindfulness. It means showing appreciation even for small gestures, being kind when it's easier to be indifferent and being patient when we don't fully understand the other person. A friendship grows not by perfection, but by constant care, by choosing to see the good in someone, even when circumstances test the bond. True friendship doesn't ask for luxury or grand gestures. It simply asks for presence, honesty, and kindness. Sometimes a simple message saying, "I was thinking of you," can heal what silence could have broken. Sometimes listening without judgment is more powerful than offering advice. The small things we do consistently, checking in, forgiving quickly, laughing often, become the threads that weave a strong fabric of companionship. When we realize the importance of friendship, we also realize how precious it is to protect it. Life will always be busy and differences will always exist. But when we see our friends, not through the lens of perfection, but through the lens of love, we start valuing them for who they are, not for what they do. A true friend doesn't need to be perfect. They just need to be real. And when we find such people, we must hold them close. Because real friendship is rare and deeply sacred. The gift of friendship reminds us that we are not alone. It gives us someone to share our laughter and to divide our pain. It brings meaning to our victories and comfort in our failures. It reminds us that even when life is unpredictable, there will always be someone who stands with us saying, "I'm here." And that, more than anything else, makes the journey of life beautiful. Many friendships don't end because of betrayal or major fights. They quietly fade away because of small, unspoken misunderstandings. It often begins with something simple, a message that wasn't replied to, a tone that was misunderstood, or a joke that hurt more than intended. At first, these things seem trivial, too small to address, so we ignore them. But instead of disappearing, they begin to linger in our minds. One small incident becomes two, then three, until a cloud of doubt and resentment starts to cover the warmth that once defined the friendship. The truth is, friendships rarely break because of storms. They crumble because of the pebbles we refuse to remove from the path. When we let small issues go unresolved, they start to grow roots in our hearts. The next time our friend says something slightly off, it feels heavier because it reminds us of the previous hurt. Slowly, we stop calling, we stop sharing, we stop being open. What was once an effortless connection turns into a cautious silence. Both people feel the distance, but neither speaks up, waiting for the other to make the first move. In the process, a bond that took years to build weakens over days or weeks, all because of things that could have been easily forgiven or talked about. Small misunderstandings have the power to change how we see someone. One unkind comment in anger can overshadow hundreds of kind ones. One forgotten invitation can make someone feel excluded. But when we step back and look at the bigger picture, we realize these small moments are not worth losing years of companionship. Real friendship requires perspective, the ability to see beyond temporary hurt and remember the depth of connection that exists underneath it. Often, our ego plays a silent role in this process. We wait for our friend to apologize first. We tell ourselves, if they cared, they would reach out. But true friendship is not about keeping score. It's about remembering that both sides are human, both are imperfect, and both are capable of hurting and healing. Sometimes we have to be the first to reach out, not because we were wrong, but because we value peace more than pride. The act of forgiveness and understanding doesn't weaken us. It strengthens the bond and shows maturity of heart. If we think deeply, every close relationship in life survives only because someone decided to let go of the small things. Nobody is perfect all the time. Friends will forget birthdays, say hurtful words, or disappoint us occasionally. But when we choose to look past these imperfections, when we remember the good times and the love we've shared, the small things lose their power. A strong friendship isn't one that never faces problems. It's one that rises above them again and again. The beauty of friendship lies in its ability to heal itself when both hearts are willing. A simple, "I missed you," a small act of kindness, or even silent understanding can rebuild what distance tried to break. So, instead of letting small misunderstandings destroy the bond, we can use them as reminders of how much the friendship means. Because in the end, no minor disagreement is worth losing someone who made your life brighter. When we hold on to small hurts, disappointments, and grudges we carry invisible weights in our hearts that slowly drain our peace and happiness. These small grievances, often over trivial matters, seem harmless at first. A forgotten thank you, an unreturned favor, a friend who didn't check in when we were feeling low. Each of these moments leaves behind a tiny scar. We may tell ourselves that it doesn't matter, but deep down, we replay it again and again adding emotion to something that could have easily been released. What we don't realize is that these small emotional burdens accumulate over time, making it difficult to truly feel light, joyful, and free in our friendships. A friendship thrives on openness and emotional flow. When we begin storing small hurts, we block that natural flow. Every interaction starts to carry unspoken tension. We begin to interpret simple things negatively. Silence feels like avoidance. Honesty feels like criticism, and business feels like rejection. Our mind becomes an overthinking machine, constantly searching for proof of neglect or disloyalty. Slowly, we stop enjoying the friendship as we used to. Instead of laughter, there's hesitation. Instead of warmth, there's distance. And yet, most of these wounds come not from cruelty, but from misunderstanding and emotional buildup. The heart has limited space for both joy and resentment. The more we fill it with grudges, the less room we leave for peace. The act of letting go is not just about the friend, it's about freeing ourselves. When we release a small hurt, We are not saying that it was okay or that it didn't matter. We are simply choosing not to let it control our emotions. This is not suppression, it's transformation. It's the conscious decision to value happiness over heaviness. It's realizing that the friendship is worth more than the irritation we're holding on to. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack everywhere you go. Each small misunderstanding adds another stone inside it. After a while, the weight becomes unbearable, even if each individual stone is tiny. But the moment you start removing them one by one, through forgiveness, communication, or understanding, you start to feel lighter. The world looks brighter, conversations become warmer, and laughter returns naturally. That's what happens when we stop holding on to small hurts. Friendship is about acceptance. We must remember that our friends are human. They will forget, make mistakes, and sometimes fail to understand us. But so will we. If we expect perfection, we will always be disappointed. Instead, if we choose compassion, we'll find peace. Letting go of small disappointments doesn't mean ignoring our feelings. It means giving more importance to the bond than to the bruises. It's the art of choosing the heart over the ego. When we practice this regularly, our friendships grow stronger. We start appreciating people for their intentions rather than judging them for their flaws. The more we let go, the more space we create for trust, laughter, and emotional connection. A light heart loves deeply, but a heavy heart struggles to love freely. And in the end, it's always the heart that learns to let go of the small things that experiences the true joy of friendship. Pure, forgiving, and beautifully alive. The essence of a strong friendship is not found in the absence of conflict, but in the presence of forgiveness and the willingness to rebuild what has been shaken. Every meaningful relationship will face moments of misunderstanding, disappointment, and hurt. It's inevitable because no two people think, feel, or express themselves in the same way. But what keeps a friendship alive through the storms is not perfection. It's the commitment to repair, to understand, and to continue walking together despite the cracks that appear along the way. In life, we will hurt and be hurt by those we care about the most. Sometimes it's not intentional, sometimes it's just human nature. A careless word, a forgotten promise, or a misunderstanding can leave scars. But strong friendships are built on the awareness that love is greater than ego, and that forgiveness is not a favor, it's the foundation of connection. When we choose to forgive, we are not erasing the past, we are allowing the future to remain open. We are saying, you are more important to me than this moment of pain. That single choice has the power to transform a friendship from fragile to unbreakable. Think about the relationships that have lasted years, the ones that have seen laughter, tears, and everything in between. They've survived not because everything was smooth, but because both people knew how to mend what was broken. They talked through the silences, apologized when pride said not to, and gave each other the benefit of the doubt. They didn't run at the first sign of difficulty. They stayed, they listened, and they healed. It's in those moments of repair that friendships deepen, because true connection is built not just on shared joy, but on shared healing. Forgiveness in friendship doesn't mean ignoring what happened. It means looking beyond the hurt and recognizing the intention. Often, a friend's mistake comes not from malice, but from misunderstanding. And when we allow compassion to guide us, we begin to see things differently. The same situation that once felt unbearable now feels human. We begin to understand that our friend is growing, learning, and sometimes struggling, just like we are. When we approach conflict from that space of empathy, forgiveness becomes natural, not forced. Moreover, forgiving and rebuilding strengthen emotional resilience. When we forgive, we free ourselves from bitterness, and we teach our hearts that love can survive imperfection. A friendship that has gone through storms and healed becomes stronger than one that has never been tested. There's a deep beauty in knowing that even after breaking, something can be made whole again. It creates a sense of safety and trust, because both people know that mistakes won't destroy what they've built. Sometimes all it takes to repair a friendship is a simple conversation, a heartfelt apology, or even silent understanding. The courage to forgive and the humility to seek forgiveness are the twin pillars of lasting connection. When both friends learn this, no argument is too big, no silence too long, no misunderstanding too deep. Because at the end of the day, the forgiveness isn't just about the past. It's about choosing love over pride, peace over pain, and connection over separation. It's this choice that makes a friendship not only survive, but truly thrive through the tests of time. Learning to let go is one of the greatest signs of emotional maturity. It means recognizing that not every battle is worth fighting, not every word needs a response, and not every situation deserves our energy. In friendships, this wisdom becomes especially important. When we care deeply for someone, we naturally want to be understood, appreciated, and respected. But life is messy and people are imperfect. There will be times when a friend says something carelessly, forgets an important moment, or fails to meet our expectations. In those moments, our ego wants to react. It wants to correct, defend, or retaliate. But true maturity whispers something softer. Let it go. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start caring in a wiser way. You realize that protecting the bond matters more than proving your point. You learn that silence can sometimes speak louder than words, and understanding can be more powerful than argument. When we let go, we aren't surrendering to weakness. We're choosing peace over pride. We're choosing the friendship over the fleeting satisfaction of being right. Because what good is winning an argument if it costs you the warmth of a meaningful relationship? It takes strength to control the impulse to react. Often, small issues grow into major conflicts because neither person knows when to stop. A simple misunderstanding turns into a war of words. fueled by hurt egos and unhealed emotions. But when one person decides to rise above it, to hold space for calm rather than chaos, the entire energy of the friendship shifts. That one moment of maturity can save years of connection. It's not about suppressing your feelings, it's about expressing them with wisdom, or sometimes realizing that not everything needs to be expressed at all. Maturity teaches us that friendships are not built on constant agreement, they are built on acceptance. We may not always share the same opinions, values, or ways of expressing ourselves, but we can still love and respect each other. Letting go allows us to see the person beyond the mistake, to separate the moment from the relationship. It's a beautiful act of compassion to understand that our friends' behavior is often a reflection of their circumstances, not their heart. When we let go, we allow grace to flow into the relationship, creating room for healing instead of resentment. There's also an inner freedom that comes from letting go. When we stop holding grudges or replaying negative moments, our mind becomes lighter. We start focusing on the good instead of the bad, the laughter instead of the silence, the love instead of the lack. We begin to see how many beautiful memories outweigh that one uncomfortable moment. This mindset not only strengthens our friendships, but also makes us emotionally resilient. The truth is, people who master the art of letting go live happier lives. They don't waste energy on unnecessary drama. They don't allow small things to disturb their peace. Instead, they protect their relationships by nurturing them with patience, understanding, and forgiveness. And over time, they realize something profound, that the strongest friendships are not the ones without problems, but the ones where both people are mature enough to rise above them. To let go is to love wisely. It is to say, this connection matters more than my ego, and that decision alone can turn a fragile friendship into a lifelong bond. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness, but in truth, it is one of the greatest strengths a person can possess. It takes a brave heart and a calm mind to forgive, especially when you've been hurt or misunderstood. In friendships, forgiveness acts as a healing bridge, connecting hearts that may have been separated by pride, ego, or pain. When we forgive, we are not excusing the mistake, we are freeing ourselves from the burden of bitterness. We are saying, I choose peace over resentment. And that choice has the power to transform not just the friendship, but our inner world as well. When someone we care about hurts us, our natural instinct is to pull away. We replay the situation in our minds, analyze every word, and often make assumptions that deepen the wound. Over time, this emotional replay becomes a habit that traps us in negativity. But forgiveness breaks that cycle. It releases us from the constant weight of what went wrong and opens space for love and understanding to return. In a friendship, forgiveness means remembering the person's intention more than their action. It's about focusing on the bond rather than the mistake. Forgiveness is not something that happens instantly It's a process. It begins when we allow ourselves to feel the pain without letting it define our future interactions. It grows when we choose empathy over ego, when we realize that everyone has moments of weakness. Our friends are not perfect. They make errors just like we do. Sometimes they act out of stress, misunderstanding, or emotion, not out of malice. When we learn to see that, our hearts soften. We begin to understand that forgiveness is not about who was right or wrong. It's about keeping love alive even after imperfection has entered the picture. The beauty of forgiveness lies in its quiet power. It doesn't shout, it doesn't demand recognition, and it doesn't keep count. It simply restores peace. It allows laughter to return where silence once lived. It helps us move forward, unburdened by the past. When we forgive a friend, we are essentially saying, our friendship is stronger than this moment of hurt. That statement alone creates an unspoken bond of trust and respect. It shows that love can withstand the tests of time and emotion. Sometimes, people confuse forgiveness with forgetting. Forgiving doesn't mean erasing the memory. It means no longer allowing that memory to control our emotions. We can remember what happened and still move on with grace. This kind of emotional maturity creates a deep sense of inner peace. It also teaches us humility, because just as we forgive others, we also hope to be forgiven when we fall short. When forgiveness becomes a natural part of friendship, conflicts lose their power to destroy. Arguments may still happen, but they don't leave permanent scars. Instead, each disagreement becomes an opportunity to understand each other better. Every time forgiveness is given, the relationship becomes more resilient. The heart learns to love beyond ego, beyond hurt, and beyond the temporary storms of emotion. In the end, forgiveness is not about weakness, it's about wisdom. It's the ability to rise above the noise of pain and choose harmony instead. It's the quiet strength that says, I won't let this small thing ruin something beautiful. The one who forgives is not the one who loses. They are the one who grows. They gain peace. They protect the friendship. And most importantly, they protect their own heart from being hardened by anger. Over time, the small acts of letting go, like ignoring a rude tone, overlooking a forgotten message, or forgiving a delayed response, become the quiet glue that holds a friendship together. In every meaningful relationship, there are countless moments where we are given a choice to react or to release. And each time we choose to release, we add another layer of strength and understanding to the bond. It may not seem like much in the moment, but these tiny decisions create emotional stability, the kind that allows a friendship to last through years, distances, and changes. Every friendship will face tests of patience. Sometimes, a friend might be going through a difficult time and not communicate as often. Sometimes, they may speak without thinking or behave in ways that feel unfair. Our ego will always urge us to take it personally, to feel ignored or disrespected. But when we learn to let go of these small things, We begin to see with compassion instead of suspicion. We stop measuring friendship by temporary lapses and start appreciating it for its consistency over time. A true friend is not the one who never hurts us, but the one who values us enough to stay even when things are imperfect. Letting go of small issues is like removing weeds from a garden. Left unattended, weeds grow and choke the beautiful flowers of trust and love. But when we regularly clear them out, through understanding, patience, and forgiveness, the friendship continues to bloom. A rude message might have been sent in a moment of frustration. A forgotten plan might have been caused by genuine business. When we learn to look beyond the surface, we realize that most hurts in friendships aren't intentional. They're simply a reflection of human imperfection. These small moments of grace, when practiced again and again, shape the emotional climate of a friendship. They make it safe for both people to be themselves without fear of constant judgment. When friends know that their mistakes will be met with understanding, they open up more honestly. They share their fears, flaws, and insecurities without hesitation. This trust deepens the bond in ways that perfection never could. True connection doesn't grow from flawless communication. It grows from forgiveness, empathy, and emotional space. Each time we let go of something small, we also lighten our own heart. We free ourselves from unnecessary stress and emotional clutter. We stop expecting perfection and start celebrating presence. We learn to focus on the bigger picture, the laughter shared, the comfort offered, the memories made. These are what truly matter. No one remembers small arguments years later, but everyone remembers who stood by them when it counted. It's also worth noting that letting go doesn't mean suppressing emotions. It means processing them with maturity and choosing to respond with kindness rather than anger. It's about realizing that one small hurt doesn't define the whole friendship. Every relationship, no matter how strong, needs room for error. When we allow that room, we give the friendship space to breathe and grow naturally. Over time, these consistent acts of letting go create a deep sense of stability. They turn ordinary friendships into lifelong connections built on trust and respect. Because the truth is, friendship isn't built on how often we agree. It's built on how often we forgive, overlook, and continue to choose each other. The small things we let go of today are what make the bond unbreakable tomorrow. True friends understand that mistakes are simply a part of being human. No matter how close two people are, there will always be times when they misunderstand each other, speak in haste, or fail to meet expectations. That's the nature of life. No relationship is flawless. But what defines real friendship is not the absence of mistakes, it's the presence of understanding. True friends do not measure the bond by moments of anger or conflict. They measure it by the depth of trust, loyalty, and love that exists beyond those temporary moments of imperfection. When we truly value someone, we begin to see them for who they are, not for what they did in a single moment of weakness. We stop expecting perfection and start embracing authenticity. Everyone has days when they are tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. Sometimes a friend might say something hurtful without realizing it. Sometimes they might fail to show up when we need them most. But when our heart is anchored in understanding, we learn to see these lapses as part of the journey rather than the end of it. Real friendship is built on grace, the ability to forgive easily and love deeply, even when it's not easy to do so, in the understanding that mistakes don't define a friendship allows us to love without fear. We don't walk on eggshells, afraid to say the wrong thing. We communicate honestly, knowing that even if we stumble, the bond will survive. That sense of safety is what makes a friendship feel like home. You can laugh without pretending, cry without shame, and speak your truth without fear of being misunderstood. When we know that forgiveness will be met with compassion, not judgment, we become our truest selves. And in that space, friendship thrives. There's something deeply beautiful about friends who choose to stay even after seeing each other's flaws. It means they love you not because you're perfect, but because you're real. They've seen you at your worst, angry, lost, emotional, and they didn't walk away. That kind of loyalty can't be bought or forced. It's built slowly through patience, empathy, and shared experiences. Such friendships become rare treasures in a world that often values convenience over commitment. It's also important to remember that understanding in friendship goes both ways. Just as we wish others would see our intentions before our mistakes, we must do the same for them. When we take a moment to pause before reacting, to reflect before judging, we often realize that what upset us wasn't done out of cruelty, but out of human imperfection. Maybe our friend was dealing with something heavy they couldn't express. Maybe their silence was not rejection, but exhaustion. When we give others the same compassion we hope to receive, the friendship grows stronger and more sincere. Friendships that last a lifetime are built on this very principle: mutual understanding and acceptance. They don't crumble under the pressure, because both people know that one mistake cannot erase years of love and connection. They understand that every bond will have its highs and lows, but what matters is the willingness to work through them. When we stop keeping score of who hurt whom, when we focus on healing instead of blaming, the relationship evolves from ordinary to extraordinary. True friendship isn't about constant agreement or flawless behavior. It's about choosing to see the heart even when the moment is difficult. It's about remembering that a single fight doesn't define years of loyalty. And it's about holding on to the belief that love, when genuine, can survive any misunderstanding. Because at the end of the day, friends who understand your imperfections and still choose to stand beside you are the ones who truly deserve your heart.